Hello, how are you doing? Delighted to be doing another video, a wee break. Full disclosure, I've not had much chance to do much with building and painting war games. So I do like to, when I do a video, show off something new, something that I've painted. I've just been really busy. I've been doing a lot of extra work in the charity sector on top of my normal full-time job, and that's taken up a lot of time. And I've also been doing a bit of fantasy wargaming, War Master and Lord of the Rings. And for reasons, I'm not doing fantasy wargaming on this channel. So that's why you've not seen as many videos. And I'd rather do something worthwhile than just putting out a video, because that's changing. I've got some models to spray today. But on top of that, I've been playing lots of games though. So I've been meeting at my club, the SAVC Hub, Wednesday nights in Glasgow. We're sort of a casual group of gamers, get up to 15, 20 people at our top. Up to 8 tables out there. Easy, we can accommodate more. So if you're in that historical gaming in Glasgow and you want to come down and check us out, Wednesdays from about 6 o'clock. But anyway, so what have I been playing historical? So I have been playing, this week I had a game of Gangs of Rome. Well, actually, I've been fairly consistent on Bluesky, UncleCthulu, putting my stuff on Bluesky. So if you're interested in sort of seeing photos of my video, of my games, follow us, hunt us down on Bluesky. So this week played Gangs of Rome. Then last week we played, what was it we played? Oh yeah, Lord of the Rings. We've also done some, what words are leaving us. War of the Roses, never mind the bill hooks, which I don't, and I'm actually, one of my projects I've got going on at the moment is War of the Rose Army. And I plan to do, you might remember the video I did about Epic Hail Caesar, War of the Roses supplement coming out. Plan to do sort of a big Hail Caesar, War of the Roses Army as well. And what I want to talk about today, bot action. Played some bot action. And I had high hopes for 3rd edition, because 2nd edition had become a bit of a kind of hodgepodge, lots of stuff all over the place. So I thought it'd be a good way for Warlord to pull the edition together. For example, the Black Powder and Hail Caesar edition changes weren't that dramatic, but kind of tidied up a lot of things. And I was hoping for something similar to Bot Action, but some of the changes have changed the game dramatically, both for the good and for the bad. And now I've had a chance to play the games, I'll talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. So the good. So the thing about Bot Action, a rule set like Bot Action, is it's played by a lot of people. That means, theoretically, you can go to most gaming clubs and play Bot Action. So the answer to a lot of things I'm going to talk about could be your play group come up with your set of rules. Fair dues. But my play group now, you know, I interact with maybe 16 people that regularly play Bot Action. So what I was hoping for was a set of rules that everybody liked, could get on board with, that we wouldn't need to change too much. So that aside, what do I like? So the changes to firing. So there's less modifiers on your roll to hit, roll to wound as normal, then you get cover saves. Really like it. Feels really intuitive, flows really nicely. Honestly, really good change to the set of rules. A lot of the things I might talk about coming up next in the bad, you know what, they're annoyances more than anything. But two big things which have left me feeling cold about the edition. Force composition. Platoon structure on the face of it looks really good. However, what I've been seeing is maybe a lot more armor on the field. For me, Bot Action is a brilliant platoon level infantry based game. That's what I really liked about first and second edition. You'd had a good solid infantry platoon, sometimes you had transport and stuff, then you might have one tank. The ability to take multiple vehicles easily has meant that the game, for me, and the games I've played, felt a bit of rock, paper, scissors. I played a game where I was tested out, took a couple of tanks and like 1,000 points, dealt with my opponent's anti-tank quite easily, and he had nothing to answer it. And a couple of other people in the club have seen that. So we had two easy access to armor. And I know you got points and stuff and balance, but it doesn't feel like the game I want to play. Secondly, with that, with the platoon structure, is officers. I like that. People talk about the phrase tax when you're building armies. I hate the phrase, oh, officer tax. I quite like the idea that you buy a platoon and an officer comes with that. I think the morale buffs happening all the time in every test within 6 inches of an officer, when there's significantly more officers on the field, feels a bit powerful. You know, the ability to put some pins on a unit and that unit to struggle to pass orders is a key part of the game. Whereas when you run around with an officer, I've seen a lot more majors in this edition, +4, just, you know, that's a big part of the game that they're able to negate for multiple units. I think if officers were only given that bonus to one unit, to maybe put a wee chit next to the officer, or move the officer to the unit, that would be cool as well. Other key things, niggles, templates, and kind of being a bit more consistent with area effect weapons. So what does this look like? So I like to create mini dioramas with my artillery pieces, for example, which means that my crew are often quite close to the cannon. I might have some terrain around it, like sandbags, or like one of my late war German anti-tank guns is in a ruined building. So that means if a template comes down on my stuff, it's all close together, more things are going to be hit by template, where rules is written, all your figures only need to be, I think it's like an inch away from the breach, so you can actually space your 3 figures around the gun, so that certain templates are only hitting minimum casualties. So, and the same with infantry units. So I like to play quite fast, like I say, casual player. But we have like sort of semi-tournamenty games at the hub, and to get, you know, moving your troops. If you end up squishing them together, maybe it's because you're moving fast and not really thinking about things and trying to get a game in time. Just speeding up, good fast play. Come to the speed of play in a minute. You are more at risk for templates, whereas if you take your time and this game runs slower and you're spacing things out, it wouldn't slow out. I think templates add a dimension of fun, but not when you've got lots of people playing. So what I prefer to see is, I like more, it does maybe D2 hits, D3, you know, a dice number of hits. Certainly works for buildings. Same with Nebelwerfers, multi-launchers. So my big bugbear in second edition was a radius from target. So if your target was a single officer on his own, 6 inches, every unit within 6 inches of that single officer hit on a 6. Fair dues. If that was a squad of 12 models, obviously a much bigger area, everything within 6 inches of that is hit. If you hit a building, target a building, everything within 6 inches of that building's hit. which actually meant that there was no consistency with the multi-launcher. And that was my main thing. The fact I might hit 3 units and hit on 6s wasn't too much of a thing, especially when you're only seeing 1, maybe 2 on the field base. But now you could obviously take regiments of them. So regiments, but I've been playing a lot of English Civil War, epic pike and shot, so I have had loads of regiments on the table. Now you can take platoons of them, much more on the table, and like I say, that inconsistent sort of that inconsistent size of the blast, it gets to me. I'd rather see normally a point on the battlefield and everything within a radius of that, even if that was a variable size like D6+3, for example, size, radius, gets hit, something like that. Multi-launchers, you know, I think there's been like 2 FAQs now which have changed the rules for the multi-launchers. It's a hard thing to get right. It's a thing that overused can make people feel bad, especially someone like me who's dead lucky with dice, rolls like 3 or 4 6s. With that as well, other feel bad things of the game. There was one of my opponents, actually really nice guy, really nice thing game. It was a good game. It's a frustrating game in 2nd edition. It was for Megatron, and he's taking like a para-recce jeep army, and he had like multiple recce jeeps because you're using sort of campaign selectors. Really tough game, really frustrating game for me. And this edition allows more recce units. So the recce rules as written, being able to go down and dodge shooting and stuff. Really frustrating, feel bad moments. One armoured car being able to recce, I'm cool with. You know, when you're facing 3 or more, like I say, feel bad moments for me. I'd like to see recce mebbies. You can on an advance order, you can shoot and move or move and shoot. Keep it nice and simple. I think there's also some maybe stuff you could do with terrain. Quite like the idea. Wargame Strategy and Soldiers podcast were talking about, you don't know if terrain's hard or soft cover, for example. Maybe recce units, you maybe put some tokens down, and as you come to it, you reveal whether it's hard or soft cover. Maybe recce units at the start of the game allows you to pre-recce some of those. You know, there's so many interesting things you could do. It doesn't feel bad moments. So net results, actually, from my experience of playing bolt action. So we've played games. We're in we're recreating our slow grow escalation league. Out of my 4 games in that, I've won 3, lost 1. One was against the recce, 3 recce armoured cars. But like I say, I just find it really frustrating. And I've played other games as well, but I've taken March off playing bolt action, and I'm actually considering looking at thinning out my armies of bolt action. That's how I feel about the game. It's left me feeling cool. You know, I'm not rushed out to buy the Armies of Germany, but I've got the Army List app, the Warlord Army List app, but I've not rushed out to buy the Armies of Germany book or the compilation thing that came out. Whereas in 2nd edition, I was kind of buying everything as it came out. So I've taken March off from playing bolt action. I'll get a couple of games in May, April, running up to the Guns of Brimloan event in May, which is our sort of bolt action tournament run from our gaming club. But yeah, what I look like with bolt action, I've actually dug out other 28mm Wargames rules to look at. I've heard Chain of Command's quite good. And like I say, I'm looking for something that's a nice size infantry engagement. And I think, you know, tanks are fun, but you know, we can balance it out some other way. Good, the bad, and the ugly. I think I might have talked about this in the other one. This is a beast of a book, and one of the things that I think is a real problem is the amount of sort of history at the start. Now, I'm not against having history in rule books, And don't get me wrong, this is a lovely rule book, history covers, but when you've got like 50 pages of rules at the start, history at the start, and then you've got to start finding rules, it becomes quite tricky to kind of get to the rules you want. If the rules are at the start of the book, you're straight into the rules, stick the history at the back maybe. Yeah, I'm not. So yeah, that's kind of the ugly bit of it. Okay, actually, you know what? Another good thing I liked is the scenario generation, where you roll for deployment type, you roll for your scenario generation, and you roll for deployment. So yeah, so table sort of quarters or halves. What scenario playing? Deployment. Really like that. Shakes things up. But yeah, I mentioned what actually being a slow game. Yes, bot action is a slow game when you can get multiple order dice in the bag. If I've got say 15 dice, my opponent's got 15 dice, that's 30 activations, one after the other. I mean, I'm lucky. I'm quite on the ball. I'm quite a taskmaster when I play bot action to keep the dice going. However, all that aside, from one-on-one games, I have discovered a play mode of bot action which is superb. We did a big mega game of bot action. So it was 5 people aside. Was it 4 people in the end? 4 planned 5. So each player brought a platoon of 1,000 points, and those platoons were focused. So it was like 2 infantry platoons, a recce platoon, a tank platoon, and an artillery platoon. And the table was split up into sectors. Now it wasn't just set lines down the table. The sectors followed the flow of the battlefield, so it might follow row, hedgerow, river, that sort of thing. Now each battle zone had its own orders dice, and in that orders dice was colours for every platoon on each side had its own coloured dice. So for example, the armoured platoon might be black, one infantry platoon might be red, another infantry platoon might be yellow dice. And the players in each sector pulled out an ordered dice, because your army, your platoon could be split up over the table. I think we had a 12-foot table. And when your order dice was pulled out, you were pulled over to that sector to go and do something. If you were busy doing something else in another sector, you had to sort of give some orders. You weren't allowed to point, which is cool. Say, right, that squad needs to do X, Y, Z, or get that squad moving, something like that. Or shoot at that, or people on your team could take saves again if you were busy elsewhere. And actually, that was what, 5,000 point game, loads of dice, loads of fun. The game worked really well. We called it Operation Rami. Guy that ran it did a lot of work thinking about it, soliciting, canvassing opinions and stuff in advance about how it could work, doing some research. Really fun game. Like I say, we started at 10, we were finished by 4 with a good lunch break as well. Things kept moving. You know, the organizer was umpiring, and yeah, if you check our ACVC Wargames Fellowship, you'll see some photos of it. Probably is the best experience I've had playing bot action. So maybe there's something looking at that for us, rather than using it to try and do infantry platoon based battles, which it did in 2nd edition, which I don't think it does in 3rd edition. So yeah, how I feel about bot action at the moment. I'll have a couple more games in April. I have hopefully a couple of test games before Guns of Brimlow. I'll play the Guns of Brimlow. Guns of Brimlow is slightly different as well. You limit it, it's 1,500 points, but you limit to 15 order dice, so you maybe see some of the bigger things going on there. But yeah, sadly, I think, you know, 3rd edition at the moment left me feeling pretty cool about bot action, which is a shame. I've got about 14, 15 armies for bot action, so yeah, when I've talked about thinning it, it's yeah, probably does need thinning. But anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for hearing me ramble through my thoughts on bot action. But wanted to give some real thoughts once I've got like 10 plus games under my belt, and see how I really felt about it. It's certainly the stuff I felt when I saw the changes that were coming and the impact it would have. Kind kind of has playing out the way I thought it was for us. So, but yeah, there's obviously loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of different wargames rules out there. So, yeah, I'll keep on rolling dice. But anyway, see you later. Bye for now.